Hello and welcome to another Doctor Assistant 1 video, and today I'm reviewing the series 7 part 1 Amy Pond figure from the 3.75 inch figure range. The only real accessory it comes with technically is a base stand, basically just so that the figure can stand up and whatnot, and so it just has one peg hold, which is there. DWM, if you can't see, it's red plastic. It's okay, I guess, but I do prefer the blue one. And because it's the red one, that pretty much indicates, at least to me, that it's from Wave 3 or in Wave 3 packaging and whatnot. And yeah, this is of the new Wave 3. So there's been 3 waves so far of the 3.75 inch figures, so they must be quite successful, to the contrary of majority of reviews on YouTube. About a good 9 out of 10 of them, in my opinion at least, what I've seen of majority of them, bashing the 3.75 inch figures, which is kind of ironic. Majority of the lesser known reviews have been bashing the 3.75 inch ones, whilst the bigger ones like Vote Saxon 07 and Batman Match have kind of said some positive stuff about them. They don't, they don't love them, but they're better than all, basically, which is true. Because this is a variant of a figure we already have, which is Amy. Because it's a variant version of Amy from the 5-inch one, I don't have anything to compare it to because we don't have this version in 5-inch, even though I would have preferred it to be in 5 inches. I'll go through the detail first because this will be much easier to go through. She's extremely, in a lot of black clothing. She's got a grey skirt, which is nicely painted and creased. I do think the creasing sort of detail is much better on 5-inch figures, obviously, because you can just see it better. She even has a belt there with grey parts, a sort of black coat with a grey zipper. The hair sculpt is decently done. There's not as much detail obviously on a 5-inch one figure because obviously the size of the hair would be much bigger, and so you could see the strands of the hair better, but it still works. Now, this is my only problem with 3.75 inch figures. I do think the aliens head sculpts are always better in smaller size because I feel as because you don't know what a Zygon actually looks like, so you can't say, oh, that doesn't look as realistic as a Zygon, because essentially it's just a prosthetic sort of thing or a CGI thing. Whereas the human face, you have a real person's face to kind of compare it to, and this looks decent to Karen Gillan. Personally, I think it looks as good as it can be in 3.75 inch. I mean, there's no real sort of detail really. It's just very basic. Very basic, and it gets the job done. So I'm gonna put her back on her stand because she doesn't seem to want to stand up. So that's annoying. So yeah, the face looks very basic and it's not to write home about. I mean, it does look vaguely does do the job of looking like Karen Gillan, but it's not an amazingly massive portrayal of her, her face sculpt, and then there's just these little black boots, hands, which are obviously normally sort of painted on, that skin tone wise. Articulation, she has knee joints, obviously, 360 feet. They're not on ball joints, which I don't think the 5-inch ones were ever on ball joints anyway, the sort of feet. In at the 90 degrees that way, so as you can see it goes 90 degrees and a full 360 degree spin on this, if I can get a hammer kind of to do it. 360 spin there. In at the elbows, and 360 hands. So yeah. The head could do full 360, but because of obviously the quite big long hair sculpt, it can't do full 360. So obviously that would then be in the way and whatnot. But this sort of elbow joint there, sort of, not elbow, tricep even, I don't know, sort of lower arm joint, should I just say, is really loose. Like, you can't see there, sort of that joint there is extremely loose on my figure. I don't know if that's everyone else's. So the articulation's very basic as well, and you know, it's a very basic figure and it does the job well, but it doesn't, like, you know, it's not like over the top, you know, like amazing, if that makes sense. Like, you know, it's not got a absolutely, like, you know, next level, like, you know, like articulation or next level detail, you know. So it's not like setting the bar, is what I'm saying. It's just average and decent for what it is. You know, if you want a Series 7 Part 1 Amy figure, then you've got it in 3.75 inch. That's probably the only major problem. And especially, obviously, if you wanted more detail and articulation, because you'd be able to get that probably more than likely in a bigger figure. But, you know, but aside from that, for the scale, the detail is really good, and for the size, the articulation's decent. It's just that on my one, the sort of this arm joint there is really loose, and I'm afraid that it's going to snap off or fall off or whatnot, and come off. What else? Yeah, it comes with no accessories, which I'm not too fussed about because she don't really come with any accessories. And if you're not aware, this version of Amy Pond is the Series 7 Part 1 variant, specifically her costume from Asylum of the Daleks. So yeah, if you're a fan of that episode, I highly recommend this figure, and if you're a fan of Amy as a companion, then obviously you should go pick this one up. It retails for, I think, $6.99 from Forbidden Planet, and I'm not sure about Character Options website if they still have this one in stock or at all. As always, thanks for watching. Comment, rate, and subscribe.